evening, racing fans, and welcome back to round 5 of our Porsche Cup, sponsored by Shotels. We're ever so glad to have you as we head to one of North America's most flowing and technical circuits, the Virginia International Raceway. The full course. With just 4 rounds remaining, the title fight is tightening. The pressure is rising for each of the drivers, and every single point now carries championship level weight. Unfortunately, I do have some pain in my mouth, so I won't be as too excitable as always, but I will try to bring you the action as best as possible. But VIR is a driver's circuit. It's fast, it's rhythmic, and it's unforgiving. From the iconic climbing S's, as you see them driving through right now, where commitment is everything, to the technical oak tree section leading on to that long back straight. This track rewards bravery but punishes hesitation. The championship picture after four rounds is very challenging. As it stands at the top, it's a heavyweight duel. Estefano Barrera leads the championship with 119 points. He's been consistent, composed, and always in the mix. Nate per se just deliver race in and race out. Right behind him, only 3 points back, is Felipe Gil on 100 points. When he's strong, he's very strong, and tonight is a prime opportunity to strike. Some poor internet issues in the past has led him to fall down the grid. Let's see what he can do here this evening. But lurking in third is Daniel Roberts, who after a poor showing in round 4 at Daytona was relegated down. Now he sits on 110 points, just 9 off the lead though. So one good result tonight could completely reshuffle the standings. But that's just 9 points covering the top 3, with VIR's high-speed nature and overtaking opportunities into turn 1, especially on a roller coaster further down. This could be a pivotal round for the championship. But the drivers to watch right behind him is Miguel Beltran, sitting in P with 93 points. He's still within mathematical striking distance. He needs a big haul tonight. And right behind him, let's just get the cameras, as you see Edwin Ballerina there, showing the black and orange flags. But Daniel Moreno sits in P5. His momentum has been building ever since round 3. So he could play a spoiler to the title contenders. Keep an eye on the midfield as well. Drivers like Tash Edwards, Edwin Ballerino, and Mikhail Charles have shown they can capitalize if chaos unfolds up front. Mikhail Charles there lost a huge haul of points in race 2 last week after receiving a 60-second, my apology, penalty after 2 very dramatic moves that forced him further down the grid. Don't forget Carson, who we are on board with right now, currently 9th in the standings. Dangerous cars underneath him. He's had a poor showing, poor luck. Again, even more. We can begin to strap in for round 5 at VIR as it's about to go on the way. And yes, the championship will continue on. We'll just take a moment to just enjoy the drivers as they head through this beautiful Friday morning. In game time, at least. The practice session started at 10 a.m. so right now it would be about 10:52 a.m. with qualifying beginning at 11:05 a.m. The drivers are ready to go. Quickly, I'll just go through the point standings. Estefano Barrera sits in P1 with 119 points. Felipe Yiel sits in P2 with 116. Daniel Roberts in P3 with 110. Miguel Beltran in P4 with 93. Daniel Moreno in P5 with 80 points. Taj Edwards in P6 with 70. Edwin Ballerino of Panama sits in P7 with 65. Mikhail Charles with 58 in P8. Jaden Harrison 54 in P9. David Tuta in P10 48 points. Daniel Velez P11 with 47. Kurt Moss in P12 with 42. Dominic Charles in P13 with 37. Peter Arundel, not seeing him here tonight, am I? No, I am not. Unfortunately for him, he's missed a few rounds. He sits in P14 with 35 points. And Thomas Gore in P15 with 28 points. We have 52 registered drivers, about 23 on track tonight. Few saying they're feeling ill, so sorry to miss them, but the race must go on. Daniel Moreno, he had gotten the fastest lap in qualifying last week. Won race 1. Brilliant race from him, as a matter of fact. So we'll watch to see what he can do here this evening, as he will be putting his bid for the top step of the podium. Jaden was the driver of last week to watch. He had a qualifying ban, so he had to start from the back of the grid from P36, if I remember, and finish off race 1 in P11. Finish off race 2 in P1. That's been his greatest race of the season. Not this evening. So hopefully we can see another bid for that battle here this evening as he tries to help his teammate to win this championship. Any points that he can take away from the competitors will help him in the long run. We're right along board now with Edwin Ballerino, rapid driver as well. We've seen him representing as we speak. Jaden Harrison there goes for a 144.676. So that's an indication of how he's feeling tonight. Let's look forward to the battles, because the times are separated by only a few mere hundredth of a second, tenths if we can go that far. As you see the difference between the leaders, 2 seconds down in P20. But everyone up to P10 is about a second within each other. Some testing their quality setups, some testing their race setups. With about 4 minutes remaining, I am expecting this grid to flip on its head. We had quite a showing last week, as a matter of fact. Had a little bit of rain, which did add to the drama there in the latter parts of the race. That was very fun to watch, if I do say so myself. So as we continue to prepare for qualifying, Ladies and gentlemen, leave your votes for the driver of the day. As always, we try to incentivize the drivers at the end of the championship. So if you have a favorite, help them to get a little bit of acclaim here at the JSRA. We're actively trying to build up the driver pool, driver acknowledgement as best as possible. So never a better time than now. Help your best driver, your favorite drivers to do better as they continue on in their butte and their bid for glory here at the JSRA. So just a quick recap. The top three separated by 9 points. We'll have a 10-minute qualifying session beginning in about 2 minutes, followed by 2 sprint races. The first one will be 20 minutes. Race 2 will be a reverse grid, 25 minutes. Should add to the drama here this evening. Definitely looking forward to what's going to come as the drivers continue onwards for their bid for glory. Again, just a disclaimer. After a long week at the dentist's office, my mouth is a little bit in pain. So please, if I'm not as excited as I normally sound, don't be too concerned. I'll try my best to keep the action up. As you see Estefano there going through the S's. This has been one of the official training tracks, as a matter of fact, for the JSRA. Most of our tests, this is like our unofficial test track, especially in iRacing. We've tested every series here, so drivers not new to it. I'm sure we'll see them going further down the time as they continue to push forward. And practice is officially over. Drivers should be just finishing up their laps before the beginning of qualifying. So that does bring the practice session to an end. Jaden Harrison did top the field momentarily. Kurt Moss is the first driver out, so we'll ride along board with him. So we have a 10-minute qualifying session on the way, or the first 3 laps that are counted, as a matter of fact. We'll see who can put their best bid up. Estefano was one that said he just turns off all overlays and just gets going. Doesn't care about anything else. Just puts that time on the map. And gets going. So right now we have Kurt Moss leading the pack. He will be the first to start this evening's qualifying laps, as usual, as a matter of fact. So we'll just ride along board with him as he gets his tires warm and ready to go. as he goes down the backstretch to enter into the final sector. Kurt Moss, he's had a few bad races himself, unfortunately. Some dramatic race ending incidents, as a matter of fact. But now as he goes through the roller coaster down through Hog Pen, he'll be starting his first indicative lap here this evening. Heads down the front straight, heading down to turn 1 by the horseshoe. You build up as much speed as possible. Late brake right after the 3. Right here, you want to trail brake as much as possible to rotate the car through the track as you head down now into 3 to 4. You want to use minimal brakes and use that little bit of braking to just get you through the corner. Some just lift, as a matter of fact, as we saw Kurt there. But right here is where you don't want to be touching that grass. That grass can be the loss of the time that you need. So you see him using as much of the curb as possible, but even a little bit too much, if you would say, as he heads up now the S's. And this is again where commitment, you want to be flat all the way through. You seen a little bit of lift there on the front right to that Porsche Cup, and the right here slam on the brake, fast left, and goes down now. So as he will be heading down now into, this is the Oak Tree corner onto the back straight. You want to use up as much of that green curbing that you saw there. You can go wide past the sausage, the yellow and white curb, or yellow and green curb, my apologies. Long back straight. This is where you're going to see a lot of bump drafting for teammates and a lot of drafting overall as I head up and through again right here. Brake hard into the right hander. Use as much of that corner as possible. Hug into the inside and exit wide. This is where a lot of persons will lose a lot of bit of their time. So as you see him there, very clean, as a matter of fact, looked good, and will be the first to come across the line. Let's see where that lap will put him. Obviously in P1, but what time? 1:45.75. David Tuta right behind Vincent Da Silva. 1:47 for David Tuta, so about 2 seconds after Francisco Javier Salazar as well. 1:47. Miguel Beltran 1:45.86. Luis Daniel Velez, he's going to be the next one up to cross. Outside of Felipe Yield, my apologies. He's a 10th up on Kurt Moss. So he's going to be one that we will be watching. Daniel Roberts, so looks like he made some mistake there in the final sector. So he sits now with a 1:46.67. Daniel Moreno, though, he's on a hot lap off a lap as he crosses the line. Where does that put him? Right there on the top step. 2 seconds clear, or 3 seconds clear of P9. About 1 second, or let's say about 7/10 clear of P2. Jaden Harrison, where is he here this evening? You will notice as well, Mikhail Charles is one of those who is not qualifying here this evening. Unfortunately for him, he has a qualifying ban following suit. Mr. Harrison of last week. Jaden now puts it down to 1:45.48. So that's going to be fun to watch. We'll continue to ride along board. Where's Estefano though? Let's watch and see what he has to come and put forward for us here this evening as he heads up the back stretch. And heads right down through the roller coaster. And by turn 16 and 17, 17A by the hog pen, comes around back on the throttle as quick as possible. Use up as much of the track as you can. And go, 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 go. Push, 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 push. Estefano now crosses the line. Where will that put him? That puts him right there on P2. Felipe Yield as well about to cross the line, and he looks rapid as well. Where was he going? Yep, he is promoted into P2 as well. So rapid laps from these drivers so far. Daniel Roberts as well about to cross the line, or just does. He goes up into P3. So right now he will have one more lap to put his best bid for the top step of the podium. But right now Daniel Moreno 1:44.96 is the time to beat. Jaden Harrison though does look good. We'll ride along board with him He's looking good. He's improving. You see him there. Use as much of the track as possible. And looks like, yep, 144.861 for the Jamaican. He is now on provisional pole. Daniel Moreno now under pressure, as well as Estefano Barrera. He himself, you need to see him getting further up the grid. Luis Daniel Villas as well, P10. We know his qualifying not always the best, but he always ends up really fighting his way through the field. Anthony McNamee right there as well. Driver number 44, the biggest Lewis Hamilton stan. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, the battle is on. As even Felipe Yield, he comes across the line, but he looks like he had a bad section there. Nope, my apologies. He goes on provisional pole. So he's now on a 144. Daniel Roberts as well. He's in P3. P4, my apologies. As he comes to finish his last lap. Daniel Moreno as well. This could be the finishing order, but Jaden Harrison, he's been the one that's been having a torrid time after torrid time. But for the first time, looking like he may start off, well, second time as a matter of fact, but he may start off on provisional pole, or on pole, my apologies, as he comes around the final. And he does cross the line. Does he take it? He was 100th down. Yes, he does. He goes up 2/10 up on P2 in Felipe Yield. So right now, Jsra Team A, Team Alpha on P1 and P4, and Nova Racing in P2 and P3, P5 and P6 as well. So the Jamaicans will be surrounded by the Colombians there to start this race. Nothing new for them, as a matter of fact, as they've continued on and on. You see Kimani Eastman there on the side. DeVille Park still putting in his bid to see if where he can land this evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, set. Jaden Harrison will be leading from pole position here after a brilliant showcase there to bid for P1. As you can see, Jaden Harrison in P1, Felipe Yield P2, Daniel Moreno P3, Daniel Roberts in P4, Miguel Beltran P5, Estefano Barrera P6, Edwin Ballerino in P7, Kurt Moss P8, Dominic Charles in P9, Tasha Edwards in P10, Daniel Velez in P11, Javier Brandao P12, Cornell Jones in P13, David Tuta P14, Vincent Da Silva P15, Kimani Eastman in P16. Joshua Brady in P17, Javier Salazar in P18. And the drivers are ready to go racing. I myself am ready to go racing, as a matter of fact. Julian Narcisse in P19 and Carol Aiton in P20. Carroll saying to me he cannot wait for us to get back onto Le Mans Ultimate, where he did a brilliant job. But ladies and gentlemen, we won't have a repeat of last week. There will be no safety car. So we're bidding on the quality of the drivers here this evening. Hopes that we'll have a clean and exciting race here. Mikhail Charles did not qualify. He sits in P21. We'll watch to see where he comes. DeVille Park in P22. Joel Santamaria in P23 and Anthony McNamee in P24. He runs out the grid. We have the lights out. Cornell Jones not on the grid at the moment.
Green.
And it's green light racing. Good start there for Jade. A little bit of wheel spin there for Felipe Yil. And Daniel Moreno as well. He looks like he's getting a good launch off the grid. Daniel Roberts already relegated down one. Daniel Moreno moves up one. Or two, my apologies. Daniel Roberts lost one. Everybody looking like they got through relatively clean. Let's hope we didn't just blow that one though, because you seen a little bit of hargy-bargy there in the background. As the beginning of round one, race one has begun. And Jaden Harrison looking very good so far. Felipe Yil sitting in P3. Daniel Roberts has lost one. Estefano hunting down the Jamaican in front of him now. Already pulling a gap though, as Edwin Ballerino sees the likes of Kurt Muster right behind him. But Estefano Barrero, he's ready to move already, as he's just sitting down waiting on his moment to pounce on the Jamaican. And Daniel Roberts, my apologies, he got sent off. Horde of Colombia between himself and his next countryman. Hounding the likes of Edwin Ballerino. 7/10 the gap between Jaden and Daniel Moreno as well. So can pull a second gap to get out and clear himself of the drivers behind him. You don't want any pressure really. So it's possible and just run away. He's P21, he's moved up already. As Daniel Roberts behind just takes two moves in one. Mikhail had to back out there, I'm assuming had some issues with his maybe cutting the corner a little bit. So that time, that's all I can assume. But right now, the fastest lap does go to Jaden Harrison with a 1:45.324, 6/10 clear of Daniel Moreno. The rest of the Colombians behind him. to the rear end of that. Is Kurt Moss there. He is side by side with Edwin Ballerino as they head into the roller coaster. Oh, I knew it was gonna happen, man. I saw it. Oh, Kurt, man, Kurt. Oh my word, it's. We had a about it. It's like every race he finds himself in some incident, and it's never his fault. That one, oh my gosh, my heart goes out to him. Kurt there had a brilliant start to this race. He's now relegated down to P18. Was looking for that move on Edwin Ballerino, but Edwin there went off track and went into the side of Mr. Massive. Take a quick look back at that one. So there you see it. Kurt Moss was in the slipstream, and that's what we spoke about, the power of that slipstream. Edwin though did not want to back out of it, went off the track, and there you see it took him out. Man, that one was painful for him. But we continue to watch as Tad was now sitting right there on the back end of Mr. Dominic Charles. With only 6 minutes remaining and no need to rush, and that's the sad part about it, man. But yes, Taj, we know him to be a patient driver and just pick and choose his decisions when to make his move. As you see him there just sitting in the slipstream. Dominic there tried to break it early. Should be safe for the majority. Right behind them though, Daniel Roberts just trying to at least make it back up to P10, because if he can get there, the reverse grid, you start back on P1. So great damage limitation for him now as he sits down now in P7. Oh, sorry, P11. My apologies. P11 for the Jamaican. Jaden Harrison there again, setting the fastest lap ablaze. My apologies. No, it was Daniel Moreno with a 144.918. 144.92. So he is putting on a little bit of a show here this evening. It's about 100th quicker on the last lap to Jaden Harrison. Jaden's fastest lap was a 145.002. That was last week. Last lap, my apologies. He's built the gap to about a second now, and he's seen Danny there making his one and two few mistakes there. Felipe Yield just sitting down there in the background, waiting on any moment to pounce, but I'm sure he's just saying to his teammate, yo, get me out. Let me get a chance at the Jamaican ahead of him. But there you're seeing it. It's a daunting task for Jaden ahead of him. I mean, just looking behind him, it wow. It's just Colombian after Colombian after Colombian. And these drivers, they are rapid. We've seen them in the past. We've seen them all season. What they can do here. Wow. Daniel Roberts, though, moves up into P10. Joshua Brady just gave him passage. Kurt Moss there in P16 at the moment, chasing down Kimani Eastman. Again, points goes up to 15 points, so you just want to gain as much as possible. But yes, this is a battle that we've been watching, and there you go. Daniel Moreno has relegated up or given that position up to Felipe Yield. We'll take a look. Was it on merit or was it? Nope, it looks as if he went off the track, as a matter of fact. So we'll take a look at that in a moment's time. This was that move for, yep, there you see. He just pulled to the side, allowed Felipe to go and say, all right, your turn. You can get a shot. And the two will be working together to see if they can close that gap. 1.3 is the task ahead of them. Jaden doing a brilliant job here this evening. With 10 minutes remaining, will the pressure hold off for the Jamaican? Estefan as well, he's in the championship bid. He's fighting his teammate in Felipe Yield. The next one down is Daniel Roberts, who is currently sitting in P10. Sure, he'll want to try and capitalize on as many points as possible as Estefano continues through and through. Let's take a look right back at the fight for P9 to P7 to P6, my apologies. Dominic Charles has a charging Jamaican behind him, as well as Luis Daniel Velez and David Tuta right behind. And Daniel Roberts not too far ahead or behind. He can see P6. But it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. So only time will tell where he will end up at the end of this race. Kurt Moss there, P15, so he as well trying to gain as many points as possible. I already know the conversation that he and I are going to have at the end of this one. But, you know, that's just a sad, I mean, it's racing. You know, you see the move, you're going for the move. You practice all week. It can be disheartening when you spend all week trying to gain as much time, and then in the moment you just lose out just like that. It can be heartbreaking, but always a pleasure that, you know, he never fails to come and show up. We missed that overtake, but this is the one between Estefano and Miguel. Ooh, was that a little bit of net code? Maybe. But he uses it and he gets through. So Estefano now looks ahead to Daniel Moreno. Felipe Yield, though, he's not. Truth be told, Daniel will want more points. As many points as he can get. Tash Edwards, though, gets in front of Dominic Charles. Dominic Charles under threat now. We'll look back at the replay, but right now, Dominic Charles has a horde of drivers, including Daniel Roberts, who is looking on his move against David Tuta to push him off the track. And that man was, there you see it. He and David Tuta were fighting coming down the back stretch. That was a dramatic net code. So Daniel Roberts had a moment, but nowhere looking as yet. Dominic Charles, though, he's been relegated down a few positions as well. So we'll look back and see what happened there. Taj Edwards has dropped to the pits. Do I even want to know what had happened to Taj? This was it. Says Dominic Charles. Yep, there you go. Dominic looks like he lost his braking and just took Taj Edwards out. The two Jamaican racers, all three out of the four, have been taken out this race. Jaden Harrison with the best chance and possibility as it stands. Vincent De Silva there just sitting in the slipstream, waiting on his moment. You see him there sitting in the slipstream, comes out, pulls out as they head down now to roller coaster. And it looks like a move down for the Panamanian. He moves up into P10 as it stands. He'll be starting in P1 for the reverse grid. And what a dramatic turnaround for this one. Vince there sits now in P10. Still will be hounded though by Dominic Charles, who I'm sure would love to start from P1. His teammate right behind him in P12, and Kurt Moss as well in P13. So this is a fight for the reverse grid P1 at least. We have two Trinidadians racing for the Cayman Islands 7-mile racing team. We have the Panamanian from GT Panama in Vincent Da Silva, holding the likes of Dominic Charles, who did miss that pass. Let's take a quick look at it there. Vince went a little bit wide, gave up that run. Dominic took the moment to take and seize back that opportunity. And that's Dominic Charles into the wall. Oh, he got out of it, thank God. But right now, Mikhail Charles, he sees an opportunity as well, being squeezed wide. Kurt Moss there, this could be the brilliantest of damage limitations for him if he can just get to that P10 spot. As you see there, Vince being hounded by the two. Kurt Moss there as well. Will he do a little bit of bump drafting? Yes, it seems that way. Backs out of it early. Ooh, and the front bumper for Mr. Massive. Does he keep it? Not sure. Kurt Moss there. I hope that one wasn't the commentator's curse. And while we've been watching this, Daniel Velez passes, Roberts passes Daniel Velez for P6. So he who got taken out early, it a little bit of side-by-side action between himself and the Colombian to bring himself up into P6 to continue this bid for the championship. He also has Miguel Beltran about 10 seconds up the road, so this may very well be his best finishing position as he continues onwards. With David Tuta, the Colombian, chasing down the likes of Daniel Velez and waiting on his moment there. Yeah, they're countrymen, but no, they're not on the same team. Two fighting it through for the foreseeable future. But P1 is looking very good at the moment in Jaden Harrison as David there looks on the inside of Daniel Velez. But nowhere to go. Just noticing Vincent Da Silva has passed Mikhail Charles for P10 as well. Mikhail went off the track. We'll take a look back at that in a moment's time. As they head down now into the horseshoe. Seeing David just taking a look. Daniel did go defensive and holds the inside line. David not giving it up though. Is he trying to squeeze it in? Nowhere to go though. This battle will continue on. And there you see him squeeze on the inside of Daniel Velez. Daniel, though, unrelenting, won't give it up, and the outside will become the inside, and there's contact between the two. And Daniel, the loser of the two. That one must be heartbreaking as well. Let's just take a look at this battle between Vince and Mikhail Charles. It's been brewing. Whoa. Aggressive move there by Vincent. This is a repeat of that incident that we just saw. And the last one we'll take a look at quickly. This is Javier Brandao and Julian Narcisse, 4P15, a final point scoring position. Javier making that one look a little bit too easy. But right now, we have about 40 seconds remaining, and with a 2-second gap, Jaden Harrison leads in P1, looking as if he's going to... Ooh, what happened there? Oh my gosh, Jaden Harrison has been relegated down now into P3. Not sure why or where or how. He just stopped on the track. Not sure what had happened there. But ladies and gentlemen, that does promote Felipe Yield into P1 and Daniel Moreno into P2. This is a final lap. After a brilliant race, Jaden Harrison has surrendered the lead to Daniel Moreno and Felipe Yield, which will not be brilliant for his teammate either in Daniel Roberts. But with a 2-second gap, what could have happened to Jaden there? Is Daniel going to give this one up and leave Felipe to take the win? Felipe does lead in the standings in comparison to the 3. His closest competitor sits in P4, who actually leads the championship in Estefano Barrera. But right now, as they go through the final 2 corners, to head on to the back straight in a moment's time, Felipe Yield, not for the first time this season. Right now as it stands, he looks like he's going to take it and take the checkered flag. Run for the Colombian. Confusing finish for him, P3. Estefano Barrera in P4. Miguel Beltran in P5. Daniel Roberts having a lonesome time by himself, but good damage limitation, finishes off in P6. David Tuta, after a very brilliant battle between himself and his countryman in Daniel Velez, finishes off in P7. Ooh, he not sure if he allowed Daniel to pass him to take back that position. So P7 and P8 goes to David Tuta and Daniel Velez. P9 for Mikhail Charles, who did not qualify. So huge points for him. As the Silva finishes in P10. We'll be starting P1. Edwin Ballerina P11. Dominic Charles P12. Javier Brendel P13. Julian Narcisse in P14. Davil Park in P15. Francisco Javier Salazar in P16. Kurt Moss paying for the Jamaican hair finishes off in P17. Joe Santamaria P18. Kimani Eastman in P19, Joshua Brady P20, Taj Edwards in P21, Carol Aiton in P22, Anthony McNamee in P23, and Cornell Jones in P24. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of round 1. What a brilliant race we have underway, as well as the Panamanian in Vincent De Silva will be starting on pole position with a horde of drivers coming after him. Only a moment's time. We'll have warm-up for about 6 minutes, followed by the 25-minute sprint race. We will be back with you in a moment's time. And the wait is over. We are back with racing in 2026. The season kicks off with the Porsche Cup. Dynamic conditions, 8 iconic tracks, drivers throughout the Caribbean and the world fighting for glory in the new revamped Porsche Cup. This is promising to be the best season yet at the JSRA as we lead into season 2 with the GT3 Championship. Drivers fighting for the top step of the podium. They've returned for the fight, and the glory will be theirs. And side by side, the 2 drivers as it's a sprint race down the Kemmel Straight. And Mikhail Charles now sends a move down the inside into turn 7. Huge lockup. Amaris Garcia sees the error and runs away with it. 7 Mile Racing chasing in the background for P1. The season begins January 23rd, 2026. Sponsored by Shotels. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a warm-up period where the drivers are just preparing themselves mentally for what is to come. Last week they were in a little bit of rain. This week now they have the bright sunshine afternoon. So temperatures will be climbing as they continue on. We're right along board with Vincent De Silva. In the meantime, we'll just continue to just wait it out for what is to come in the next few moments. But that being said, we'll just go through the points or the finishing order, let me say, for the top 15. Felipe Yiel took the victory in the last moment. Jaden Harrison just felt. We'll have to ask a minute in the commentary room. But Felipe Yiel took the victory here. For Noble Racing, Daniel Moreno in P2. Jaden Harrison on the podium, but finishes off in P3. Estefano Barrero sits in P4, Miguel Beltran in P5, Daniel Roberts in P6, Daniel Velez in P7, David Tuta in P8, Mikhail Charles in P9, Ballerino in P11, Dominic Charles in P12, Javier Brandao in P13, Julian Narcisse in P14, Davil Park, final position in P15. So this is 5 at the Virginia International Raceway. You've seen everything here this evening as we continue on this. We will have a new championship leader if the points were to end right now. Felipe Yiel with 3 points to his teammate in Estefano Barrera. To watch in the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, go and get some water, get some a snack. Never a bad time to get some popcorn, even though as the drivers themselves are preparing for the next 25 minutes of their racing career. Championship points are very tight. From even the fact that Daniel Moreno, I'm sure, would have loved to have gained a little bit more points there. It's still a good haul for himself as he continues. It was Daniel Roberts who got a very good damage limitation run there, finishing off in P6 at the end of it. Started off in P4, got taken out early. He was in P5 fighting, but then found himself all the way down to P17. Had some work to do in 20 minutes. We'll have a little bit begins and we get through the first few. Only time will tell what can come from the race. Ladies and gentlemen, racing in a moment's time. And the wait is over. We are back with racing in 2026. The season kicks off with the Porsche Cup. Dynamic conditions, 8 iconic tracks, drivers throughout the Caribbean and the world fighting for glory in the new revamped Porsche Cup. This is promising to be the best season yet at the JSRA as we lead into season 2 with the GT3 Championship. Drivers fighting for the top step of the podium. They've returned for the fight and the glory will be theirs. And side by side, the two drivers as it's a sprint race down the Kendall Straight. And Mikhail Charles now sends a move down the inside into turn 7. Huge lockup. Amaris Garcia sees the error and runs away with it. 7 Mile Racing chasing in the background for P1. The season begins January 23rd, 2026. Sponsored by Shotels. And the grid is on the way. Most drivers are on track. We're waiting on Michael Charles, Taj Edwards, and Anthony McNamee, who may miss the start of this race. It seems as if they stay
Green flag, green flag.
So Vincent De Silva will start from pole position. This will make the job a lot easier for himself to defend with nobody breathing down the back of his throat. There you see it. Ooh! Yep, that was... I couldn't even tell you who that was that hit him. But Vince now relegated down into P2. Or keeps that position. Daniel Roberts, so he's had the best start of everybody else, as he's already up into P2. The Jamaican fighting it out. There's Jaden Harrison as well, as you see him forcing his way through. Started P3. What's happening there behind? Daniel Moreno relegated all the way down to P14. He's gonna have a rough time, but Jaden Harrison himself not giving it up. Brother, be patient. 25 minutes. You see him looking on the inside, then switches to the outside. Will this work out for him? Oh, that was close. And Jaden Harrison, now that's a racer, moves up into P4. Dan Robb and Vincent De Silva, they are fighting it out as well. Vince not giving it up as yet. As you see him there, holds off a P1. Daniel Roberts still trying his best. Miguel Beltran sits watching all of this unfold behind him. Where's Kurt Moss? Kurt Moss did not start, did he? Yes, he did. We'll look back at that in a moment's time. But right now, what we want to keep our focus on is this battle between Jaden Harrison and Miguel Beltran. As Daniel Roberts now looking as if he can make that move on. Vincent De Silva got the run heading down the front straight. Vince, though, not giving it up or giving an inch, as a matter of fact. That's Estefano Barrera as well, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, who's already found himself on the back of this fight. Daniel Roberts now moves up into P1. Jaden Harrison there still trying his best to get through. Vincent De Silva lost 3 in one corner. We look back at whatever had happened to him there. Felipe Yiel not too far behind, as well as Daniel Velez sits in P7. And seeing a couple drivers in the pits there. See Dominic Charles, Joshua Brady, Javier Brandao, Kyle Ayton, and Kurt Moss all sitting down there in the background. But there goes Jaden, very aggressive to take that move. Did not get it to stick though, as Miguel took that back very quickly. But with 25 minutes, it makes no sense to rush. And we'll continue to watch this as this battle continues to unfold. But there, Jaden just wants to be a buffer for his teammate. But this is going to help his teammate as well, because his teammate will just use this as a moment to just get away and run from the grid. Let's see where Jaden will place his car as he come through the final sector to head on to the front straight. And you can see the power of the draft here, but it's not going to be close enough for him as he sits in the background of Mr. Beltran. But Jaden there, just waiting on his moment there. Again, with only 4 minutes gone so far, you have another 20 minutes to go, 21 minutes to go. Makes no sense to rush it. You just put that pressure and allow your teammates to even get away. Then use your momentum through, especially through the final corner. Carry as much speed into turn 1 by the horseshoe. And if you see an opportunity, send a move. But hey, we've seen these guys be very creative in the past. What will we see here this evening, ladies and gentlemen? Put your bids in the comments. Estefano getting the best view here this evening. There you see the power of the drafts. He's just pulling, but still not close enough. Is the Jamaican, but there, as I say, carry as much speed here. Saw Daniel Roberts there lose a little bit of the back end. And there you see, there's the good run. And you see him pulling. Will this be the moment for Jaden Harrison? As you see him there just sitting in that slipstream. You see him nose to tail, tucked in. Miguel will be going defensive and holding that inside line. Who will break later? Jaden has to concede that one. Nowhere to go as yet, and that's just bringing Estefano right back into the fold. As you see him there, as they head through now, to head up to the S's and go up that hill. Oh, Estefano there, almost lost it. Felipe, you will be licking his lips as he saw the dirt flying in front of him. Still not close enough, however. That will ease off some of the pressure off of Jaden. Now it's a 2-second gap between himself. As Jaden there now sees a move. Will he go for the switcheroo? As they head down the long right hander. This is a back straight now. Let's look at the power of the toe. See him there. He did get a better run. This is going to be very fun. Side-by-side action, ladies and gentlemen. The two fighting it out. This is for P2 on the podium. Jaden does make the move stick. And is now going to play a buffer for his teammate between himself and the rest of the drivers behind him. This is what Jaden would have wanted at the beginning of race 1. But again, this works out perfectly for the team because that will allow the two drivers to even take some points off of the ones behind them. Estefano Barrera, though, as it stands, has the fastest lap with a 145.177. That's one extra point going to the Noble Racing team. And the current championship leader, who, if he can gain one more position and keep Felipe in P5, he should be able to, I think they would be tied for the championship heading into round 6 as we head to Circuito de Navarra next week. This is going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. I'm assuming this is going to be team orders right now. No racing, just go. They both know the disparity in the point standings between the two. Or so I thought. Hey, so we'll continue to watch that as that progresses. Right behind them is Vincent De Silva, who again being hounded by the likes of Luis Daniel Velez and Daniel Moreno and Edwin Ballerino. So at least he has his teammate there with him to try and fight the likes of the Noble Racing team. As you see there, Luis Daniel Velez took a look, saw nowhere to go. That looked close, but they are good to go. Daniel Moreno, no, he has the pace. I'm sure he wants to get through this pack as quickly as possible, again, and as much points as possible as he continues his bid to come back through the field. He sits now P5 in the championship. As you see the two bumping each other as they head down into turn 1. Will 2 pass him? And there you see Daniel Velez there just goes, breaks that little bit extra much to allow Daniel Moreno. That is team orders at its best. 2 past 1. Edwin Ballerina, no, he will want to get through as quickly as possible. What a move there by Daniel Velez. Knew what he was doing. Allow Daniel Moreno to move forward and will now act as a buffer for himself and the likes of the two Panamanian drivers behind him. Oof. as we turn to it, that's Kimani Eastman into the wall. I'm sure he's gonna give me some words, some kind words at the end of this. Why turn on to him at that point of the stream? Might see it in the highlight reel as a matter of fact, but nonetheless we continue onwards. Vincent De Silva hasn't given up yet. Edwin Ballerina, though, I'm sure will want a shot at the likes of Daniel Velez in front of him. Edwin does have the pace. As you see him there peeking his nose. Will Vince just back out of it? Yes, it looks like he is. Yup, and that's team orders. Allow the faster driver to get a shot at it. And smarter move, as a matter of fact. If you can keep up, bump draft him to try and even push him through. That's going to be the interesting portion. But Estefano has made his way past Miguel Beltran. And he's now on the back of Jaden Harrison. Let's see if we can find that one. What's had happened there? Yep, this is it. There you see him in the background. Didn't look like it was too hard for him, or it wasn't too hard of a job for him to do. Looks again like some team orders. As Estefano now will be hunting down not even just Jaden, but the likes of Daniel Roberts. Daniel is the Jamaican. Possible. So with about 13 minutes remaining, let's see what these drivers can do in a clean, obviously aggressive manner. Felipe Yield there as well. He's caught up to the pack. And I'm sure we'll be trying to see if he can make the move. Yep, there he goes on the inside now. Miguel backs off early. Allows Felipe through. At the end of this, we should have a new championship leader as we continue on. And looking in the chat, yes, we need the Jamaican fellas to work together. Jaden there with the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:45.091. So that's taken off of Estefano, but right behind him. His fastest lap was a 1:45.177. Right there behind Felipe Yield. Now again, Edwin Ballerino on the back end of Daniel Velez. This is going to be a battle to watch as well. Championship continues though, because Felipe Yield, yep, as I said it, Felipe Yield versus Estefano Barrero, they're in the championship fight. You know, between the two, as we saw there, Estefano just had to concede it, assuming had a track cut. Take a. He just backs out of it. I'm guessing the incident points are growing for him. Moreno behind. Sorry, Miguel Beltran. Jaden Harrison again with the fastest lap. 1:44.8. 2-second gap between himself and the likes of Felipe Yield and the Noble Racing team. Daniel Roberts there going off track. Right now it's just to keep it clean and composed. Jaden having a very good evening of racing here this evening. Again, we cannot wait to hear what had happened to him in that what you call it, that the race one, where he was leading by about 2.5 seconds and then just stopped. I'm guessing it was the incident points. We'll hear about it in a moment's time. With about 10 minutes remaining, the battle continues on. Estefano there sitting in the slipstream of his teammate in Miguel Beltran. Yes, isn't most drivers. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, now as the championship continues, they are fighting for glory. I mean, they are fighting against the likes of Daniel Roberts, who is having a brilliant race here now in race 2, but they should be extending their gap to him as well by the end of this race. But will there be some form of dramatics as the season continues on? Because I mean, at the end of the day, they're fighting for a prize pool, you know. So it's gonna get interesting as the season prolongs itself. P11 is Michael Charles. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen as they continue onwards, especially as we head to the latter stages of this championship with 3 more rounds after this one. And they going into tonight, we're separated by 9 points between P3 and P1, 3 points between P1 and P2. And that's between Felipe and Estefano. And right now, Felipe, who has won race 1 and is finishing ahead in P3 at the moment, at least as it stands, ahead of Estefano. He should be taking the championship lead from his title contender, as the two will be even drawing further away from Daniel Roberts by the end of this race. We head to Circuit de Navarro. I know Carl is going to hit me for this one, but just saw it bright and red. I saw an incident there for him. It doesn't look like there's anything to do with any other driver though, thank God. Joshua Brady and Javier Brandao, though, they've been fighting it out. Or not, never mind. Side on the board for a second there, but let me say it, Edwin Ballerino finally looking like he's trying to make the move. But Daniel just placing that car exactly where he needed it to be. So this looks like the battle that we'll continue to watch onwards for now, as these two continue their battle for glory. Panama versus Colombia. Edwin has been rapid all season as well, but Daniel just knows where to place that car, knows where to frustrate the driver behind him as well. You saw what he did with Vincent da Silva earlier, parking the car into the apex. Vince had no choice but to concede. He lost 2 in 1 right by the horseshoe corner in turn 1. Oh, what a move there by Daniel Velez. Knows how to place that car to frustrate his competitors. But with under 7 minutes remaining, about 6 minutes remaining as a matter of fact, let me not call anything out as yet. Right now it's looking very good for the top two. A 2.5 second gap between themselves and Colombian in Felipe Yiel. The grid is very spaced out right now. Kimani Eastman, though, is trying his luck against Javier Salazar. Oh, my apologies, Julian Narcisse. He's wondering when did their livers get so close. Daniel Velez there being showed a yellow flag. Wonder why. A little bit of contact there between himself and Edwin. There again, trying his luck on the outside, but Daniel Velez just puts that car exactly where he needs it to be. Nowhere going for Edwin. He's gonna have to choose another spot to try and force a move. My suggestion, try it right there at the end of the backstretch. We've seen it done earlier. But it can be very dangerous, but you have to be so close following through by the Oakland's corner. Right now, 3/10 is still not good enough to be able to carry yourself through. As you see them now, as they head down now, heavy braking. And try and trail brake through, carry as much speed there, Edwin. As you see him there, that looks good. Does go a little bit wide there at the exit. And now the power of the slipstream, but I don't think he's close enough. No, he won't be. As you see him there, does take a look. Still won't be close enough. The race isn't over. You have quite some time. About maybe another lap or two to get this one done. But there you see him, he does get a good run now, heading into turn one. Will he be able to? But later on the brakes, ooh, Edwin, no. And it looks like he was just trying to outbrake Daniel Velez, but nowhere to go. Chance there unless there's something catastrophic. Likes of Daniel Velez, who is clear and running away as quickly as he can possibly go. Right now, we'll take a look back at the Jamaicans. Felipe Yiel is catching up. Just by a tenth here and there. A minute remaining. They'll have about one more lap of racing to go after this one. But what a race this has been. What a strategy call by the Jamaicans. This has been clean and clear. And if any time or as ever, Jaden just wanted to get in between himself and Miguel. Daniel Moreno, though, has made his way all the way up into P5 as well. So that's huge for him in the point standings. Started P10 if I remember correctly, or P9. Sits now in P5. So this is the final lap of racing. I'm guessing if all goes as well, this is exactly how it's going to be finished. As team orders will be to gain Daniel as many points as possible to help his bid in this championship. And this was a good showing. Finally, for the first time, these two watching a race together. You know, as I always say, never sing until the fat lady sings. While we wait for these two to cross the line, though, I'm noticing a battle brewing right here. So we'll tune in on this in a moment in time, because Javier Salazar, Julian Narcisse, and David Tutor in a battle for P12. And that battle will continue on until the end of this race. But ooh, who was that? That was Joshua Brady, was it? Oh my gosh, that was close. And that does bring Felipe Yield right into the mix again, right at the last dying moment. But Joshua Brady, that is him as a buffer between himself and the two ahead of him. But Daniel Roberts does come to cross the line in P1, right in front of his teammate in Jaden Harrison. Felipe Yield in P3, Estefano Barrera in P4. Daniel Moreno comes across now to finish off in P5. Miguel Beltran in P6. Luis Daniel Velez in P7. Edwin Ballerino in P8. Vincent Da Silva in P9. Mikhail Charles P10. Kimani Eastman in P11. As he comes now to cross the line. David Tuta in P12, Julian Narcisse in P13. Had a battle going here for the last few laps. David did it look like he took it. Javier Salazar P15, Cornell Jones in P16, Javier Brandao in P17, Joshua Brady P18, Carol Eitman P19, Dominic Charles in P20, Davil Park P21, Kurt Moss in P22. But what a drive here for the Jamaicans. The MVP in Jaden Harrison lost out in race 1. Wow, that was a little... I mean, we can't wait to find out what had happened there as they do their victory lap in the Jsra branded Porsche Cup race cars. They look brilliant. They're out today. It was disappointing for Daniel in race 1, but still, damage limitation. He came back to finish out in P5, was it? Or P6 in race 1, and then finished off race 2 after a brilliant race start there. What an end to this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have interviews in a moment's time. Please stay tuned for what is to come. And ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get into the interviews. We're trying to get the likes of Estefano and Daniel Moreno in, but not getting through to them as it stands. So we have Jaden Harrison and Daniel Roberts on the line. Hopefully the other three will come on board as well. Felipe Yiel will come on board before we move off of the interviews. We'd love to have them and hear what had happened with their races, but as it stands, we'll start with Mr. Roberts, as a matter of fact. So we have Daniel Roberts now, who was starting this race from P3, but after, we're gonna hear his opinion on what had happened. Or I don't even want to say opinion. I want to know what had happened in the first race in a calm manner, as calm as possible, as possible. But yeah, we'd love to hear what had happened there. He got relegated down to P17 and then fought his way back up into P6 or P5, if I remember correctly. Brilliant race recovery. But Daniel, first of all, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear.
Wicked. All right, bro, hold on. Yes, do one more mic check for me.
Can you hear me?
Perfect. All right, and we're gonna get your camera up right now as well. But yes, Dan, can you walk us through race one? What had happened there in the beginning portion, and fighting your way through the field. How was that battle for you?
Yeah, so I got a bad start, so I lost position, and then going into the fast left, for some reason, Estefano decided to put his noses on the inside, which makes zero sense. And so he took me out, and then I just had to battle my way back. Yeah, it was fun battling. There was one like guy that spun after contact, but again, like whatever, I pressed the brake after making contact, and then he continued turning right. So like you know what I mean? Like if you get contact with someone, you're gonna open up steering wheel so that you don't get contact again. But it just seems like that like common sense didn't like occur.
We'll check it out in the student room after. But my next thing now, brother, that lap one was absolutely brilliant. You started out in, what was it, P6
For the second race,
for the
right?
second race? Yes,
I finished probably like P5, something like that.
P5,
P5,
right?
something. Yeah.
But by the end of lap, I would say even by turn one, you're basically on the back of Vincent da Silva. How was it the beginning lap for you? You got a brilliant start. Just walk us through it.
Uh, yeah. Well, I think P1 or P2 like just went really deep and kind of like backed everyone up and like messed everyone up. But I just stayed to the inside. It's always you're always likely to avoid trouble on the inside in those kind of turns. So yeah, and then after that, I think it was in P3. And then the guy in front of me wasn't like he made a mistake, I think, so I was then in P2, and then yeah, like the other guy ahead of me, like I just had more pace at the start, I guess, and I was able to overtake him.
Okay, and then now you had Miguel in P2, Jaden chasing down in P3, and then Estefan and Felipe right behind them. What were your thoughts as you saw Jaden going through the field? And I know, well, we assumed it was team orders based on how the race went down. Just walk us through that final portion.
Well, yeah, definitely, Jaden let me win. That's like a given. He had so much more pace than me. Uh, yeah, like I knew like if I didn't make too many mistakes on each lap, then I would have enough pace to like maintain a gap, if not just like lose very slightly. But then Jaden was just way faster, so he kind of just ended up being like a safety net for me. And then yeah, he just started pushing me when he got closer. That was about it. So thank you to him for helping me out with that. And I must say it wasn't team orders. Like it was like a mutual decision. Okay, it wasn't like against anyone's will.
Yeah, I figured more or less. I know he did mention it last week that his aim now isn't even for his own championship, but just to help you to win. So I mean, it's amazing to see him act as a buffer to even push them further down, to gain as many points for himself, and for you to gain as many points to, try and bridge back that gap. But nonetheless, man, epic racing. It was fun to watch you. As we head into round 6 next week, any last thoughts?
No, thank you for hosting, and I hope like next week goes as well as this week in terms of Jaden and I doing well, because this was kind of how we should have been from the start, to be honest. But yeah,
Absolutely, Dan. Thank you so much for joining, brother. We'll talk soon.
all right, thank you. Bye.
Bye. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Daniel Roberts of the JSRA Team Alpha. After a brilliant start for him, I do have Felipe Yil and Daniel Velez in as well. So let's hear from them. Daniel, can you hear us? Hey, Dan.
Yes, bro.
Hi. Is Felipe coming in for interviews?
Yes, he's here. Pipe,
Awesome.
estás aquí, ¿cierto?
Yes, I have him.
Sí, sí.
Hey, Felipe, how are you?
Pipe, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, muy bien. Buenas noches a todos.
Awesome.
Very good. Good night to all.
Does he have a camera by chance?
Not at the moment.
Okay, no problem. Well, Felipe, quickly, huge congratulations, P3, in the second race. But in the first race, winning that race, from start to finish, it was very clean. I mean, Jaden pulled to the side. Can't wait to hear what had happened there. But walk us through race 1 first of all, and even your thoughts when Jaden pulled over.
Sure, I will translate, bro. We are
Thank
hearing,
you.
I think, your like the air sound, like if you have
Oh,
something pulling air
sorry.
close to you. Yes.
I
No.
hope it's better.
Bueno, Pipe, felicitaciones, excelente resultado la noche de hoy, tercero en la segunda carrera y pues primero en la primera carrera. Cuéntanos primero cómo fue la primera carrera y peleando con Jaden en esa parte.
Bueno, no, la primera carrera sorprendido porque realmente pensé que no iba a tener ritmo ni iba a tener velocidad, no pude entrenar mucho, solamente pude entrenar ayer en la práctica oficial y hoy una hora antes, entonces no pude entrenar muchísimo, entonces la verdad sorprendido con el pace. Al final encontré algunas décimas configurando mi setup físicamente, mi pedal, logré configurarlo y sentí que mejoró un montón. Y nada, la primera carrera tranquilo. Jaden al final vi que era mucho más rápido que yo, tenía un buen setup, muy buena velocidad, felicitaciones a él. Y nada, realmente fue una carrera tranquila, no hubieron peleas.
Well, yeah, so I'm really impressed on the results for tonight, especially on race 1. I did not have a lot of time to train. I only trained yesterday on the official training, and today only 1 hour. So I did not expect to find the pace so quick. I was able to find some more time, like modifying my physical brake, my hardware. Which helped me a lot tonight. And yeah, the first race was just trying to continue to keep it up. Very likely it was no fight on the first race. Jaden had an amazing pace, so I let him by. Congratulations for Jaden for that great pace tonight.
Heading into race 2, Felipe, you were storming through the field. You caught up to, was it Miguel? I believe it was Miguel, to fight for P4, and then Estefana again just pulled to the side, if I remember correctly. Was that team orders because of the pace that you had?
Bueno, pues Felipe, sí, felicitaciones, tremendo trabajo también en la segunda carrera, empezaste a pasar a muchísima gente, creo que alcanzaste a Miguel por el cuarto puesto y luego Estefano vimos como que frenó, como que soltó y te dejó pasar. ¿Fueron esos órdenes de equipo o qué pasó ahí?
En la segunda carrera, la largada fue bastante complicada, realmente hubo un riesgo de contacto ahí, el auto se dañó un poco en la parte trasera, entonces tenía unos 3-4 kilómetros por hora menos en la recta. Igual logré sobrevivir y al final entendí el carro con el daño y tener buen ritmo. No hubieron órdenes de equipo, simplemente el setup creo que fue el que al final mejor me adapté al setup, logré ir rápido y Estefano simplemente iba algo incómodo con el setup y decide dejarme pasar porque veo un riesgo tangible y fue la mejor decisión porque vueltas más adelante cometió errores, entonces creo que fue una decisión no de equipo, sino de él individualmente y creo que fue la correcta.
Well, yeah, no. So tonight the initial of the race was really how to say it, maybe like dangerous. There was some touching there. I had damage from like sixth turn or something like that, if I do not remember correctly. I had damage in the rear and a bit of damage in the front, so I was losing kind of 3 to 7 kilometers per hour in the straight. I did not have a lot of pace. And then on regards to Stefano, no. So Stefano made a mistake. So he slowed down because he lost the car, and there were no team orders. It was just like an individual decision from Stefano when he lost the car and he saw me coming. He just let me by. It was his individual decision. And I think it was the best decision that he could do tonight due to, later he made some more mistakes and I was able to keep going. So, yeah, great race tonight.
Congratulations, you should be leading the championship. How does it feel now heading into round 6, which you should be provisionally on the top step of the podium?
Bueno, y pues según mis cálculos, revisando aquí, al parecer eres el líder del campeonato provisional. Así que felicitaciones y cuéntanos, ¿cómo te sientes con esto?
La verdad, no estoy seguro de eso. La verdad, no soy un piloto que en este momento ya no ando muy pendiente de los resultados del campeonato. Realmente trato es de disfrutar las carreras, inclusive internamente en el equipo. Siempre ha sido mi mensaje, disfrutar, pelear entre nosotros, tener carreras divertidas. Y yo creo que si las próximas carreras salen bien, deberíamos estar peleando el campeonato y disfrutando carreras al mismo tiempo.
Well, to be honest, for me, like I didn't really knew that I was at the top. At this moment on this championship, I'm just trying to have fun with my teammates. Actually, that's like the main measures that I am giving them, like enjoy racing together between us, keep learning from it. So yeah, for me, it's kind of a bit of shocking. But it's cool, and if we continue with this pace, I hope that we will be fighting for the championship at the end.
Felipe, huge Jade this evening, but again, congratulations on where you are right now, and looking forward to seeing you as the championship progresses.
Bueno, no, pues Felipe, de nuevo muchísimas felicitaciones, excelente trabajo en la noche de hoy, fue realmente fantástico ver cómo ustedes venían cazando a Jaden en la segunda carrera, así que pues de nuevo felicitaciones y los mejores deseos para las próximas carreras y feliz noche.
Igualmente, feliz noche, gracias a todos, un abrazo.
Same, equally same for all, thank you for everything and a big hug to all.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenas noches.
Dan, will you be translating for Daniel as well?
Yeah, you can send me.
Okay, thank you. Daniel, good night. Can you hear us?
Daniel, hola, ¿nos escuchas?
Hello, sí.
Yes, I can.
All right, Daniel, how are you, man? Good race this evening, finishing out race 1 in P2 and race 2 in P5. We saw you get, trying to remember what had happened in race 2. Could you walk us through it? That relegated you down the grid and you had to fight your way back through?
Bueno, Daniel, buenas noches. Felicitaciones, excelente resultado. Terminaste segundo en la primera carrera y pues terminaste quinto, si mal no recuerdo, en la segunda carrera. Nos tocó verte que tocó remar desde atrás de nuevo. ¿Nos puedes contar un poco qué pasó en esta segunda carrera?
Buenas noches. Pues principalmente en la primera, creo que la quali fue muy interesante y pues prácticamente todos en una décima, nosotros tres, cuatro, si no estoy mal. Felipe largó mal, creo que es la cuarta vez que le pasó. Yo aproveché y traté de seguir a Jaden, pero tuve un problema con la base, se me movió, se me aflojó y prácticamente ahí ya perdí el rebufo. Y en la segunda, sí tuve
Espera, espera,
complicaciones.
espera. Well, yeah. So on the first race, I think like the main thing to be able to be on second place was due to the quali. The quali was very interesting. It was amazing, to be so close, like 3 or 5 drivers,
Yes.
like in no more than 1 to 2
10th.
tenths.
Yes.
So yeah, that was amazing. So on the race start, Felipe Hill again had a bad start. It's kind of constant right now. I think like it's the third or fourth time that is happening to him. So I was able to gain that position. And then when I was catching to Jaden at the end, I suffered an issue with my wheelbase. It got loose, so that's why I lost the draft.
Okay.
Now he will continue with second race.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Daniele.
Y, en la segunda, creo que no tuvimos suerte. Creo que como equipo la pasamos mal, obviamente sin intención, pero nos afectamos entre nosotros mismos. Sin querer, pues hubo un toque ahí entre Estefano, Dani y yo. Digamos que yo llevé un poco de la peor parte, aunque Dani creo que también le quedó dañado el carro. Y ahí me tocó empezar a remar. Y la otra variante es que calculé mal la gasolina, entonces me tocó hacer leaf and goes al último y prácticamente en la recta me quedé sin gasolina. Entonces,
Well,
nada.
well, yeah. For the second race, it was kind of a bit messy on the race start. Like it was not a good race start for us as a team. Like we made a mistake between all. Like it was not on purpose, of course, but yeah, I think that I was the one that got the worst of that incident, and also Daniel Velez got very damaged on the car. So from that moment, yeah, I had to start to pull out, from the back. I was able to keep doing it, but then at the end, I saw that I calculated wrong the fuel. So I had to start to fuel saving, and then in the last lap, I almost got with no fuel. I did get with no fuel in the last straightaway, like in the main straight. So that's why I was not able to keep going.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, it was definitely fun to watch. I do have a question for both of you, to both of you, Daniels. There was a moment where you're passing Vincent da Silva heading into turn one. There was a little bit of bump drafting to get through, but Daniel Velez, let me say, you pulled to the left and parked it, allowed Daniel Moreno to pass you, and just slew down Vincent da Silva. Could you walk us through that? Was it as we thought? Was it a strategy? And Daniel, what did you think of it when you saw it happening? That Daniel Moreno.
Sure. So I'm going to translate. Bueno, Dani, pues también otra cosa que te quería preguntar fue algo que vimos en la curva 1, algo que hiciste junto con Daniel Vélez, de hecho es una pregunta para los dos, cuando estaban pasando a Edwin Valerino, un poco de bomb draft ahí para empujar a Daniel Vélez, y luego pues él se fue hacia afuera y prácticamente parqueó el auto para que tú fueras por dentro y pasaras. Cuéntanos cómo fue la maniobra, qué opinas de esto.
Bueno, prácticamente fue, pues en el momento nos estábamos comunicando por el Discord y simplemente yo le dije, voy por dentro, obviamente después de empujarlo. Él tenía demasiados daños y la idea era pues no tratar de no perder tiempo, pero pues no salió la maniobra relativamente bien, creería yo.
Well, so this is the answer from Daniel Moreno. So he said, yeah. So I catch them both in the straight, and then yes, I did the bomb draft. And after I saw he passed him, I told him we were communicated on Discord. So I told him directly, I am going on the inside. So I let him know he had damage, so it was the best move to do. So I sent it in the inside, and I think it was a good move because it ended it good.
Okay, thank you. And then Daniel, you can just finish off and tell us what was that your well, you just answered the question actually. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure having you here this evening. And as we head into round 6 next week, I look forward to seeing you guys coming out to the numbers and putting on a showcase as you did tonight.
Bueno, sí, muchas gracias por la respuesta. Fue una buena maniobra y nos alegramos mucho de tenerlos en el campeonato. Esperamos ver los próximos. Qué buena ronda 6. Muchas felicitaciones por los resultados y pues nada, feliz noche.
Gracias, pues esperamos que en la siguiente nos vaya mejor. Creo que en esta sufrimos demasiado por el setup. Jaden está muy, pero muy rápido. Entonces, nada, pues esperamos que en la siguiente nos vaya mejor.
Well, no, thank you so much. It was a blast to race tonight, but it was kind of hard. They had a really, really good setup. We were suffering a lot with the setup. So congratulations to them on the pace and on the setup. And we hope that on the next races we can have a better result. So thank you so much and good night.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. And good night as well.
Thank you. Feliz noche. Ciao.
Gracias. Chao.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Daniel Velez and Daniel Moreno of Nova Racing. But right now we have Jaden Harrison, who led race 1 by demanding 2 seconds and conceded it, and then fought through the pack from P7 all the way up to P2. My apologies. Had some very interesting battles throughout. Jaden, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Do you?
It's a P1.
Better it is a
Because the
P1,
way
yes.
I was driving,
Yes.
P1 was possible.
Absolutely, but team orders, it seems your promise did come through. Do you have a camera available?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Awesome. All right, so Jaden, let's just start quickly with the race 1. Everybody wants to know what had happened there. Why did he pull off to the side?
My game it froze. So I had to like just jam on the brake and stop the car and hope it unfreeze.
Oh my gosh.
I unfreeze.
That happened
Yeah.
right at the best moment possible, could it?
Yeah. And even in the race, I had a disconnect with the Wi-Fi and all the cars disappeared and I thought I was done. Even now Discord is going
Oh my gosh.
yellow. So
Well,
there's not to be.
Man, it was a scary moment for all of us. We thought it was fuel. We thought it was incident points. We had no idea. So thank you for the clarity. But heading into race 2 now, you started in P7, P8? And
somewhere.
Yeah, but by turn 4, turn 3, you're all the way up into P5, P4. Walk us through the beginning of the race for you.
So I had a bad start as usual, and I think what happened is that I think the Colombian team, they kind of fumbled a little bit. They got in each other's way, and then like one guy got held up, the next guy got held up. I think somebody has hit into the back of Miguel, it was. And then that whole thing just slowed at least 3 or 4 of them down. And I just saw the gap, it opened up, and I just went.
Absolutely. I'm watching it live right now. And what a brilliant start it was for you. But you found yourself right up on to the back of, was it Miguel, to fight for P3. You were chasing him down for the majority. You're very patient in your moves. Walk us through that battle.
Yeah, because VIR, there's not really much places to pass, and I think he was kind of parking it into the corner, so I couldn't get a good exit. But I actually didn't want to pass him where I passed him, but Dan Rob gave me the slipstream, and I say, screw it, let me try it. And he actually backed out. He was being smart because you can't really go too wide there. We saw what happened trying to go too wide there with Dominic and
Kurt in race
So,
1.
I think
Yes.
everybody raced much cleaner today and much better in general, even race 1. Apart from what happened with Daniel, that was really disappointing. But other than that, I think the usual scrap that we have in the top 5 was much better today.
Absolutely. We had a brown pants moment on the last lap, though. Well, at least it was a brown pants moment for us because we just saw the gap drop and a gray and yellow car was in front of you. Give us your thoughts when you saw that happening, please.
Well,
Ooh.
we kind of knew before because we all have like a voice chat.
Okay.
But Dan Rob wasn't really focusing on the car and also Mr. Brady.
Yes.
I don't know why he did that. I don't know if he got bribed to do that. but yeah, that wasn't like
the safest
planned.
move. No.
Yeah. That was kind of sketchy.
We're watching it back right now, and boy, it looked a little bit. I mean, my heart is still pounding at it, as a matter of fact. But yeah. Again, though, huge congratulations. The last thing I know, you said that your aim for the rest of this championship is to help your teammate. We saw it in full effect tonight. How do you think it will play out for the rest of the season?
To tell you the truth, I think Daniel needs to like focus more because in the race he was making a ton of mistakes. I think if I passed him and just drove normal, he would be cooked because he was just making so much mistakes. So, both drivers have to do a good job to make that to work. And I think I don't want to throw away a potential win because Dan Rob is making a mistake, or we get caught, So we just need to work on it for next race. And the next track will be hard. But yeah, I mean, the position for me doesn't really matter.
Right.
Once Dan Rob is doing a good job, and I think we seem to have good speed at the tracks that don't have setup shop support. So Daniel is definitely doing a good job knocking out the setups and making sure that the whole team is fast. Because even Kurt in practice was only a tenth off Daniel. So I think we all have some speed over the Colombians. So
absolutely,
it's just to actually race, and it's like more fun.
Yes.
To race cleaner than be just having a ton of incidents.
Trust me, it's so much more appealing today, especially for the stewards. I'm sure they're going to be grateful for it. But that being said, Jaden Harrison, you put on quite a show here this evening. Any final thoughts as we head into the next round next week?
The track won't be hard.
All right. Well, folks, you heard it here first. The track will be hard and difficult, but with the talent that we have, I'm sure the battling will be even better. More as we close in on the end of this championship. That does bring the stream to an end. Thank you, Jaden. Have a wonderful evening, brother.
Yes. All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, that does bring the stream to an end. I've been your host, Stephen Stewart. It's been a pleasure showcasing you all of the talent here at the Jsra this evening. And as we close out, we bid you a very well good night. And that brings us to the end of another wonderful race weekend. We thank you for joining us as the drivers put on a show, fighting for the top step of the podium. But we will see you again next week as the drivers return for the next round. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you the action, the drama, and all the battles here at the JSRA. Huge thank you to our sponsors, Shotels, who without them none of this would be possible. And a grander shout out to our Lord Jesus Christ, who without him none of this would be a thing. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful evening and a great night.